Welcome back, everybody. We're very glad and excited to have you with us again for Learn Spiritism modules. Today, we'll be talking about Jesus in our class number 2. In order for us to talk about Jesus, it's very important for us to go back and understand what happened before Jesus was able to come down to earth. As we start in this journey of preparation that our Heavenly Father did so that Jesus could carry out his mission, it's important for us to understand the role that Moses played, or in the first revelation. In the 12th century, Hebrews were freed from Egypt, and they were guided from that part of the world back to where they were able to receive Jesus' message. Moses played a great role of putting the Jewish people together in order for them to be able to receive the enlightened message afterwards. It's also important to remember that the Decalogue, received on the Sinai Mount, was the first mediumistic message that was guided towards Moses from the spirits or from the angels. He many times wrote about having communications with. The 10 Commandments are still this day the fundamentals of the highest moral and philosophy of religions. This is seen, as we know, by many of the law principles in the world as having the first code of laws, of regulations throughout history, the 10 Commandments. As we move forward, it was needed by that time that humbled spirits had to come down to this planet to prepare towards the arrival of Jesus. If we recollect history that time, or back then, our world was living very harsh times, very difficult times. And as the presence of our Master approached Earth, the whole vibration, the whole energy environment of this planet had to change towards a more loving, a more compassionate, so that he could come down and be able to incarnate and carry out his sublime mission, to bring the good news, to bring gospel to single one of us. That's how we understand Christ, as the second revelation. As we learn from Spiritism, Jesus did not come to destroy the law. He came to fulfill the law with a different perspective, to really open our minds and hearts so we could better understand what God has planned for us, to learn, to develop our own intelligence, and to really progress towards relative perfection, as we learned from module number 1. Jesus modified Moses' laws and really summarized all that love that God has for all of us. And if we could even summarize Jesus' laws ourselves very humbly, we should say that his first message, his first mandate, that we should love our God, our Creator, above every single little thing that we have. And we should love our neighbor as we do love ourselves. If we were able to do that, we'll be able to accomplish many things that Jesus asked us to. It's also important to mention the community of pure spirits. Even before Jesus came to earth, about 2,000 years ago, a little over 2,000 years ago, this planet, since its conception, since its creation, Jesus was already there. In this community of pure spirits, who guided the creation of earth, Jesus presided those fellow benemerite spirits. So it's safe to say that even before our planet was created, Jesus was already helping every single little detail to be in its place. Also, it's important to mention that they've met twice on earth, for its creation, as we just mentioned, and prior to the arrival of Jesus. So they had to prepare the soil, as an agricultural person who prepared the soil for the plantation to come afterwards. They had to prepare the environment so Jesus could come and could really develop his mission and his guide. As we learn from Spiritism, Jesus is the most perfect type or model that God has given us. Allan Kardec very wisely asks the immortal spirits in the question 625, I quote, "What is the most perfect type that God has offered to man as his guide and model?" And the answer, the shortest answer from all spirits books questions, Jesus. So, if we want to have a model, a role model and guide to our lives, if you want to have a role model and guide to all of our actions, we should really imitate Jesus. That's also the message that Benjamin Franklin gave us. Imitate Jesus in one of his virtues. As you also learn from the Spirit's book, Jesus is the type of moral perfection which all of us, humanity, may attain upon on this earth. God has offered him, Jesus, our thoughts to the most perfect model, and his ideas, as it was taught by God himself, is the purest expression of the divine law. Because God, our heavenly creator, animated the divine spirit, and through that purest being, he was able to make appear Jesus on earth, so we could benefit from his interactions with us, his guidance and his teachings, his good news. Moving forward to his mission. What was Jesus' mission on earth? What did he come here to do? As we learn from the gospel according to Spiritism, he was no mere legislator. He offered his word as exclusive authority. Right? He did not offer his word as an exclusive authority. To the contrary of that, he really felt to him or to God the prophecies. He was able to carry out those prophecies that God had announced them even before through Moses, through many other missionaries that came to earth to really develop their message. His really divine mission. Jesus came here on earth to teach us, to teach humankind that our true life is not this one. Our true life is in a spirit world. And we should live our lives here with that knowledge, with that conception behind it, that we will progress towards a really life which is in a spirit world. And then for those who are still not able to comprehend that message, it's very difficult to live a life without pride, without selfishness, because we need to remove ourselves, think critically about the message that Jesus gave us, that this life is only a step towards our evolution. This is like a grade in school that you come in 5th grade, you learn algebra. In 6th grade, you learn etc. This is like a grade in our own school of evolution, that we came here to learn more things, to learn how to love ourselves better than before, to learn how to be compassionate, forgiving, and so many other teachings that Jesus had given us before. Many people ask, what were the guidance or the help that Jesus had given humanity when he came with us, when he came here to live with us? Many people ask, what's the direction of our planet moving forward? Even other folks may suggest that our planet has not made any advancements in the past. As we learn from Spiritism, we can never go back. We can only move forward. And the same thing happened with our planet. Our planet 2,000 years ago was in a very difficult time. Many people used to kill each other, used to kill our fellow human beings for the matter of nothing. Many different atrocities were still being committed back then. As we learn from Jesus' message, the message of love and wisdom that we know has been directing all the development of terrestrial humanity. He had been sending enlightened messengers or benefactor spirits to help us, to help guide us throughout these transformational times. Some of them even not under his name, as we learn from Spiritism. The Spirit Emmanuel had taught us that Jesus himself presided the formation of earth, as we mentioned about the colony of pure spirits. So it's safe to expect that the progress that our planet is making is a good progress. Tomorrow will be a better day than today, as today has been a better day than yesterday. This is the message that Jesus gives us. Love and wisdom and the development of our planet towards a world of enlightenment and etc. As we move forward, the other person who was very important for Jesus to come down here on earth was his blood mother, or Saint Mary. As we know, Mary was invited by Jesus himself to incarnate here on earth, so she could help him incarnate and be present with us. All Jesus' sufferings, everything that our Master suffered, were also felt by Saint Mary, the saint of all saints, as we like to call her. A divine star of the greatest souls of the universe. She was also had to come to earth to help develop or to help collaborate with Jesus' message. She's our great mother, she's a great advocate, and still a great protector. So what about the divine legacy of Jesus? As we learn, humanity was not and could not accept his legacy very easily. Even he himself came and said, I have not come to bring peace, but instead the sword. As we learn, Jesus came in a very tumultuous times. 2,000 years ago, when he incarnated back with us, he promised us that a happier, a more peaceful world without injustice, without misery, without children lacking homes, without crimes, without hatred, and without wars was going to be the future of our planet. He even mentioned that fraternity, solidarity towards fellow human beings, the development of arts and sciences and philosophy and all those types of humanity knowledge that we know today will be developed. But most importantly, the nobility of our homes, the importance that we have with our own family members, because everything starts in the family. Everything starts at home. If we correct our family problems, we will correct all societal issues that we still have these days. So the divine legacy of Jesus is a legacy of peace, of love, of justice, of better times ahead. What about his teachings? He taught us many, many important things that we should keep as a motto, as a compass, that really drive our lives. His most important teaching, of course, will be to love our Creator, to love our God, with all of our knowledge, with all of our heart, and of course, to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. He promised that his kingdom is not from this world, that this world is a world, a planet of trials and expiations, and this will have a lot of suffering still. He mentioned many times about future life. A real life is the spiritual life. He mentions about many mentions in our Father's house. He mentioned about the many times we need to go back and incarnate. The many different reincarnations that we have in order for us to progress in different ways of our own amplitude of knowledge. It's very easy to understand that sometimes when you incarnate in certain conditions, you have no knowledge whatsoever of different conditions that are not present in your life. Therefore, we need to come back and reincarnate in different conditions, sometimes being in different sides of the table, so we could understand both parts of what happens with our own interactions. He mentioned that nobody can see the kingdom of God without being born again, therefore proving the concept of reincarnation. And his Beatitudes. Blessed are the afflicted, for them will be consoled. Blessed are they who hunger and thirst for justice. And so many others that Jesus is promising with his Beatitudes, that sometimes we are still suffering. Sometimes we're still having difficulties in our lives. Sometimes we're still carrying out very difficult loads, very heavy loads in our lifetime. But we shall never forget that our future life is our real life. That this, what's happening with us now, must have had a reason in the past, or even in this life. As we learned from module number 1, every action, there's a reaction. Every cause, there's a consequence. For every intelligent cause, there's an intelligent consequence. If we are living here, something that is very tumultuous, very difficult, we must have caused that, and we need that to repair our own selves. Nothing happens by mistake, as we also learned from Jesus' teachings. Everything that we go through, everything that we live through or live with, we have to be there. That is the best time of our lives. We have to be present at that. His teachings are of great knowledge. His teachings are so deep, so profound, that sometimes we need to study them, restudy them, go back to them, and see this whole philosophical idea of all his promises. He never promised us that tomorrow will be a better day if we don't do our parts. He never promised us that we need to be in a better place than we were in the past. But he only told us that by our own actions. He told us by our own efforts sometimes. If we're still not able to act, by our own efforts, we'll achieve a better place tomorrow. Jesus' teachings are so important to our lives that we invite every single one of you to study a little more, to spend some time going back to his own parables, his own metaphors, trying to find the whole deep meaning of every single one of them. And with that, I want to thank every one of you for watching our second module of Learn Spiritism. This time, we very briefly mentioned about Jesus. Thank you and have a nice day.